Hello. We know that water travels up into the sky to form clouds. That's condensation. But what happens when these clouds get full and heavy? The water has to come back down to Earth. Any form of water that falls from clouds and reaches the ground is called precipitation. Today, we're going to explore the different ways water makes its return trip to us. Inside clouds, there are billions of tiny water droplets or ice crystals. They're so small they can float in the air. But sometimes these tiny droplets start bumping into each other and joining together, growing bigger and bigger. When they get too heavy for the air to hold them up anymore, they fall out of the cloud, and that's precipitation. The most common type of precipitation is rain. Rain is liquid water droplets falling from the clouds. How it forms. This happens when the tiny water droplets in a cloud bump into each other and grow into bigger drops. They get heavy enough and then fall to Earth. For it to rain, the air temperature from the cloud all the way down to the ground usually needs to be above freezing. Rain gives water to plants so they can grow, fill our rivers and lakes, and help us have water to drink. Sometimes it's a gentle shower, sometimes it's a big downpour. When it's cold enough, precipitation falls as snow. Snow is made of tiny ice crystals that have joined together to form snowflakes. How it forms. Snowflakes form high up in the clouds where the temperature is freezing. These ice crystals grow as more water vapor freezes onto them. For it to snow, and for the snow to reach the ground as snowflakes, the air temperature needs to be at or below freezing all the way from the cloud to the ground. Sometimes we get sleet. Sleet is like tiny frozen raindrops or little ice pellets. It's different from snow. How it forms. Sleet starts as raindrops high in the clouds. But as these raindrops fall towards the ground, they pass through a layer of air that is freezing cold. This causes the raindrops to freeze into tiny balls of ice before they hit the ground. Another icy type of precipitation is hail. Hailstones are lumps of ice that can be as small like peas or sometimes as big as golf balls or even grapefruits. The largest hailstone ever officially recorded in the United States was about 8 inches across, almost the size of a volleyball. How it forms. Hail usually forms in big, tall thunderstorm clouds. Strong winds inside these clouds, called updrafts, toss raindrops up high where it's super cold and they freeze. Then they fall a bit, get coated with more water, get tossed up again, freezing another layer. This can happen many times, making the hailstone bigger and bigger with layers of ice, like an onion, until it's too heavy for the wind to hold it up and the hailstone comes crashing to the ground. Hail usually happens during warmer weather when there's strong thunderstorms. It can cause lots of damage because it falls so hard. So why do we get rain sometimes, snow other times, and even sleet or hail? The biggest clue is temperature. And that includes the temperature inside the cloud where the precipitation forms, and very importantly, the temperature of the air between the cloud and the ground. If it's warm all the way down, you get rain. If it's freezing all the way down, you get snow. If the rain falls through a freezing layer near the ground, you get sleet. If there are strong updrafts in a thunderstorm, you get hail. So, precipitation comes in many forms. Rain, which is liquid water drops, snow, frozen ice crystals, sleet, tiny frozen ice pellets, and hail, lumps of ice from thunderstorms. All these types of precipitation are a super important part of the water cycle, bringing water back to Earth so life can continue. Next time you see water falling from the sky, Try to figure out what type of precipitation it is. Thank you for watching.